This mangled wreck is all that's left of our first submitter's Tesla. But wait until you hear how the other driver tried to blame them for what happened. What they didn't know was that everything had been caught on our submitter's Teslacam. Roll the footage. Our submitter was driving his Model 3 in West Valley City, Utah when the unthinkable happened. He felt a sudden impact to the side of his Tesla before the driver's door was ripped open. His car careened down the road and smashed into a barrier before finally stopping. As he sat in his newly obliterated Tesla, the other driver walked up and leaned into the wreck to talk to him, and this is where the story takes a surprising turn. The guy accused our submitter of running a red light, blaming the collision on him. Our submitter was still stunned after the 360-degree spin and wasn't sure what had happened as the other driver continued to accuse him of causing the incident. The driver of a semi-truck used his truck to block the road before helping our submitter out of his Tesla. The whole time, the other driver just kept accusing him of running a red light. When our submitter finally got a chance to play back his Teslacam video on the screen, it clearly proved our submitter hadn't run a red light. This could only mean the other driver had run his red light and was trying to project his own mistake on our submitter. When police responded, the Teslacam footage came in clutch, proving our submitter was innocent. He purchased a brand new Model 3 Performance the day after the collision, and he told us he's loving the refreshed Model 3. Huge shout out to the Staker Parson trucker who helped him out. We've lined up 15 insane Tesla stories in this episode, so be sure to watch to the end of all the wild wrecks, vicious vandals, and mad motorists. They're all coming up this week on
Wham Bam Teslacam. I hope you're satisfied.
Joel was on his way home when he watched an oncoming driver pass traffic over a double yellow line. Joel was amazed by the driver's recklessness, but then he saw another driver right behind him trying the same maneuver. As the pickup entered Joel's lane, Joel hit the horn and the brakes while bracing for impact. But then, the pickup driver went off-road. The pickup bounced over a tree root, which sent it flying into the air before slamming back down. The grass was wet after a day of rain, and the pickup driver wasn't able to stop before smashing into the side of a house. Joel stopped and rushed to help the driver of the pickup, who hadn't been seriously injured even as the house stood its ground. Joel wanted to shout out his son Philip, who has subscribed to our channel, something Joel strongly hinted you should do too. Zawar was heading home after dropping off his mother, and as he made the final turn into his driveway, a Nissan flew past him. Correction, the Nissan flew into him, ripping its rear wheel off and sending it rolling into Zawar's front yard. The Nissan driver approached Zawar, yelling, "Come on man, you didn't use your turn signal." Zawar told us he absolutely did use his turn signal, something his Teslacam footage can't prove sadly, but when the insurance companies watched his footage, they agreed that the Nissan driver was responsible anyway. Fixing Zawar's Tesla cost $20,000 since the entire front suspension had to be rebuilt. Zawar told us he's 99% certain the Nissan driver was a gig driver who was late to make a delivery. This is actually Zawar's second submission to get featured on Wham Baam Teslacam, and his other submission was another collision right outside his house. His Teslacam footage saved him that time too, so we'll put a link to that episode at the end of this one so you can hear the whole story. Bruno parked his Tesla in a parking garage while staying in a French hotel, and he assumed the garage would be a safe place to leave his car. The next day, he found a red mark on the passenger window. At first, he thought it might be lipstick from a passionate Tesla fan, but oh, how wrong he was. In the Sentry mode footage, he discovered two men were drinking in front of his Tesla when it flashed the lasers at them, and one of them took that personally. He stepped away for a moment, then returned with a fire extinguisher. After trying and failing to open the door, he tried smashing the window open with the fire extinguisher, but that didn't work either. Bruno explained that he'd reinforced his windows with a special protective layer on the inside of the glass. We didn't feel like asking Bruno why he felt he needed this added protection, but it looks like it came in handy. When Bruno isn't accepting classified missions, he told us he watches Wham Baam Teslacam with his 7-year-old son Romeo, who also loves our videos. Gray Hippo was driving with his family when he approached an intersection in his Tesla. While waiting for the traffic light to turn green, they watched two vehicles smash into each other right in front of them. Gray's daughter immediately reminded him to save the Teslacam footage for Wham Baam. Great parenting, Gray. You've trained her well. He stopped and made sure everyone was okay. Before leaving, he shared copies of his Teslacam video with the police and with the involved drivers. Jack is a 16-year-old who was practicing for his driving test with his parents. As he headed toward his grandma's house, a red Jeep pulled out of a rest area up ahead. We've seen some reckless drivers, but this one takes the cake. The Jeep driver turned wide all the way into the passing lane. The Jeep was struck by a Toyota, which was forced into the median barrier while the Jeep spun around 180 degrees. The collision blocked both lanes, shutting down all traffic on Jack's side of the highway. Jack called 911 to report the collision, and he told the police he had video evidence to share with them. He told us this incident is a perfect example of why you should always have your head on a swivel while driving. The Wham Baam team and everyone in the comments is wishing you good luck on your driving test, Jack. Nathan was notified by his Tesla app that his car's alarm had been triggered, but you're not going to believe why.
Get your cameras out now, wow.
An F-35 Lightning fighter jet had activated Sentry mode on Nathan's Tesla with a simulated bombing run. Nathan captured this phone footage at an air show, but it took him a few seconds to realize what had set off his car alarm.
Get your cameras out now, wow.
This emitter was getting dinner at a new restaurant with some friends to celebrate his birthday. He'd parked his 2-week-old Cybertruck in a parking garage. Check out the Sentry mode videos he discovered when he returned. In one video, a family was loading into the car parked next to his Cybertruck when a woman put her cup on a ledge, then let it fall on the floor. Even though she noticed it, she chose to leave it instead of picking it up. In the next video, the man, who Nathan thinks is the family patriarch, intentionally slammed his door into our submitter's pickup not once, not twice, but 3 times. Take a look at the mark left behind by the door ding attack. Thankfully, it wiped right off, so we're guessing the other guy's door was worse off than Nathan's. Gotta love that stainless steel. Sadly, Nathan's Sentry mode footage didn't capture the offender's license plate number. He's hoping one of our viewers will recognize them and call them out, and he'd love an apology. This submitter was alerted about motion near his Cybertruck by a phone notification. What activated Sentry mode? It turned out to be an unhinged individual screaming at an empty vehicle. John thinks Sentry mode probably spared his pickup truck from any more nefarious actions. He continued to enjoy drinks with his coworkers while they all had a good laugh at this video. That wasn't the only footage John sent us, though. In the next one, his Cybertruck was actually damaged. He was driving in a turn lane when the driver of the Durango next to him tried to cut in front of him to make the turn. John told us she was screaming that she'd had her turn signal on, among a bunch of other nonsense. John thinks we need a new government agency called DODE, Department of Driver Efficiency. Isn't it amazing when you park at the far end of a parking lot, a dozen empty spots surrounding you on every side, yet the next driver to enter the lot decides to park next to you? What's really annoying is when something like this happens. This driver lost control of her door while opening it on a windy day, damaging Sky's Model Y. Sky called the police, but when they arrived, they determined this was a non-criminal incident. Since the offender had left and her license plate number wasn't in the Sentry mode recording, they had no way to identify her. The driver of the other vehicle was clearly aware of the damage she'd caused, since she looked straight at it on her way back, but she chose not to even attempt to contact Sky. While she may have left the scene, she certainly left Sky to foot the bill. Greg was on his way home after watching a game when he was passed by 2 pickups. As they crested a hill, Greg noticed smoke rising before he spotted a car on fire. Lots of passing drivers were rubbernecking, getting distracted by the car fire instead of watching where they were going, and the result was that traffic had slowed way down. The 2 pickup drivers weren't slowing down, though. Both drivers were evidently distracted before they collided with each other. Keep your eyes on the road, everyone, especially when there's an emergency situation nearby. While everyone else is getting distracted, you pay attention so you won't get smashed into. As Kristana was driving home from work, she didn't think twice about an oncoming semi-truck until it snagged on a power line above her. Kristana experienced a brief moment of panic and was worried the power line might fall onto her car or into the road ahead of her. Thankfully, she was able to avoid contact with the chunk of debris that came off the truck. Kristana isn't sure who's at fault for this incident. Should the trucker have been better aware of the height of his truck, or was the power line sagging too low across the road? This submitter was trying to zipper merge, just like all the drivers ahead of him managed to do, when the driver of a raised pickup truck pulled forward to stop him from merging in front of him. Since his lane was ending, our submitter slowed down and got behind the pickup instead. When he did, he noticed the pickup was sporting a sticker that read, "Roller Boys." I wonder if the driver is planning to roll coal. Oh, sorry, I guess it says Holler Boys. Still, who thinks they're getting ready to rip a big one? Place your bets, place your bets. The verdict is... well, looks like this overcompensator farted out a whole dead dinosaur. I wonder how much that display of dominance cost him. Ishi was waiting at a red light in one of 4 lanes proceeding straight ahead. Keep an eye on which lane Ishi was in, the 3rd lane from the left. When the light turns green, he should continue into the same lane he's in, while the driver of the Prius on his left should aim for the lane he is already in, the lane to Ishi's left. The driver of the Prius was eyeballing him even before the light turned green. When it did, the Prius driver aimed for Ishi's lane, nearly sideswiping his Tesla. Ishi dodged around the Prius before speeding up and returning to his lane, but then the Prius pulled up next to him at the next traffic light. The driver then started yelling at him and accusing him of not paying attention, ignoring the fact that Ishi's awareness is the exact reason why a collision was avoided. So Ishi put his window down and informed the Prius driver that he was the one not paying attention to where he was going. As the argument got more heated, Ishi decided to sever the conversation and put his window back up. Don't forget to watch this episode next if you want to see Zawar's previous submission. Are we the only ones amazed that he has such bad luck right outside his own house? If you've already seen that one, here's one YouTube thinks you haven't seen. Thanks to our 1 million subscribers for being awesome, and we'll see you next week.